Do you buy lottery tickets? Do you dream of winning big, buying a super yacht and a Porsche and a bathtub full of gold? Well, if so, you're clearly not alone. Lottery is a big business. In 2019, punters in the UK spent just over £3 billion on lotto tickets, and in the US, households spend on average about $1,000 on lottery tickets every year, a total of about $90 billion in 2019 alone. Now, a mathematician might say, you may as well just throw your money away, literally throw it in the bin, because the chances of winning the national lottery are so low as to be, for all intents and purposes, zero. Still, it's fun to dream of the adventures instant millions could bring. I'm not going to suggest it's a good idea. It's gambling, but hey, you spend your money how you like. Instead, here's a tale about lotteries and the weird coincidences of probability. Our story takes place in Bulgaria on the 6th of September 2009. It's the bi-weekly national lottery draw, live on television. 6 balls drawn randomly from a set of 49. And the numbers are 4, 15, 23, 24, 35 and 42. Nothing particularly special about those numbers. And as sometimes happens, there are no first prize winners in that draw. Since the chances of picking the right 6 numbers out of 49 is about 1 in 14 million, the lack of a winner isn't terribly surprising. So the prize pool jackpots for the next draw in 4 days' time. And then, on September the 10th, in the very next lottery draw, the numbers are 4, 15, 23, 24, 35 and 42. The exact same numbers as the previous draw, just 4 days earlier. A lot of Bulgarians immediately smelled a rat. The odds of winning the lottery are tiny, so the odds of the same numbers coming up in consecutive draws have to be just mind-bogglingly small, right? There has to be shenanigans going on somewhere. The government set up an official investigation, but found no evidence of fraud. And the whole thing was eventually shrugged off as a wildly improbable coincidence. Now, there are 2 things about this story that I really like. First of all, yes, your intuition is correct. The chance of the same numbers coming up twice in a row is very small, just maybe not as small as you think. In fact, the chance of this happening is exactly as small as, well, winning the lottery. Okay, we need to think about probabilities for a minute. Let's start with a simple example. Flipping coins. The chance of heads or tails when you toss a coin is 50-50. So if you guess that the next flip will come down heads, you've got a 1 in 2 chance, a 0.5 probability of being right. Now, what's the chance that the next 2 flips will come down heads? What are the odds that will happen? Well, look at the possibilities. The results of 2 flips could be heads heads, or heads tails, or tails heads, or tails tails. 4 different outcomes. So if you predict that the results will be heads heads, you have a 1 in 4 chance of being right. The probability is 1/4, or 0.25. Now mathematically, when you have 2 events that can't influence each other, like 2 coin tosses, the probabilities multiply. A half times a half is a quarter. Fine. But here's a slightly different question. What's the chance that 2 coin flips in a row will come down the same? Well, that could be heads heads or tails tails. And that means that we've got 2 chances out of the 4 possible outcomes, which is the same as 1 chance in 2, or 50%. In other words, betting that 2 coins will come down the same has the same odds as guessing the result of 1 coin toss. It's the same thing when you roll 2 dice. With 1 die, there are 6 different possibilities, so the chance of rolling any given number, say a 3, is 1 in 6. So what's the chance of rolling 2 3s in a row? Here are all the possibilities for 2 rolls. They could be 1-1, or 1-2, or 1-3. You get the idea. There's 36 different, equally likely possible outcomes. So rolling a 3 and then a 3, there's only one way to do that in the 36 different possible outcomes. You've got just a 1 in 36 chance. which is not very likely. Like the coins, the two dice are independent. One doesn't affect the other. So mathematically, the probabilities for each roll just get multiplied. That's 1 in 6 for a 3 on the first roll and 1 in 6 for a 3 on the second. And so 1 in 6 times 1 in 6 is 1 in 36 chance for a 3, then a 3. But here's a slightly different question. What's the chance of the same number coming up twice in a row? That still sounds unlikely, but well, look at the possibilities. It could be 1-1 or 2-2 or 3-3 or 4-4, 5-5 or 6-6. You've got 6 chances out of 36 possibilities, which is the same as 1 chance in 6. Like with the coins, the odds of predicting 2 dice coming up the same is like predicting the roll of 1 die. Okay, with that in mind, back to the Bulgarian Lottery. In the first draw on September the 6th, the chances of any given set of numbers being drawn is about 1 in 14 million. You can figure this out for yourself. It's a bit more complicated than the coin or the dice, but it's not too bad. So here we go. Say you've chosen a set of 6 numbers between 1 and 49. Here's the lottery draw. First number comes up. You've picked your 6 numbers. So you have 6 chances out of 49 of getting the first number right. And hey, well done. That's 1. And because one of the balls is now removed from the draw, there's only 48 left. And you only have 5 left to get right. So the chance of the second number being right is 5 out of 48. Here's the second ball. Goodness, this is going well. Only 47 balls now, and you've got 4 numbers left. So your chance of getting the third number is 4 in 47. And the fourth number, 3 in 46. And the fifth number, 2 in 45. And you're left with just 1 chance for the final ball out of the 44 balls remaining, so the chance is 1 in 44. Putting all of this together, you multiply the chance at each stage, just like with the coins and the dice, and you get a probability of 1 in about 14 million. So, that's the first lottery draw. But with the Bulgarian Lottery story, we've got 2 lotto draws in a row, so let's look at a few scenarios. What's the chance of you picking the right 6 numbers twice in a row? It has to be tiny, right? And, indeed, it is. First, choose 6 numbers between 1 and 49 for the first draw. The chance of your numbers coming up is 1 in 14 million. That's how lotto works. Now, choose 6 numbers, any 6 numbers, for the second draw. Again, your chance of winning is 1 in 14 million. So what's the chance of winning both draws? It's 1 in 14 million times 1 in 14 million, which is about 1 in 200 trillion, which is about the same likelihood as being killed because the car you're driving got into an accident while you were being attacked by a shark and struck by lightning all at the same time. But that's not what happened in Bulgaria. Not the lightning shark car accident thing, the lottery thing. Remember, the same set of lotto numbers were drawn twice in a row. The thing to remember here is that you're not picking the first set of numbers. You're not asking, what's the chance that this set of numbers comes up twice? You're asking, what's the chance that any set of numbers comes up twice? So it's like when we flip the coins or rolled the dice. The chances of 2 coins coming up the same is like guessing the result of 1 coin toss. The chances of 2 dice coming up the same is like predicting the result of rolling 1 die. So with the Bulgarian Lottery, the chances of the same numbers coming up twice in a row is exactly as likely as you picking the correct numbers for 1 lottery draw. It's 1 in 14 million, not 1 in 200 trillion. It's unlikely, but it's not shark, car crash, lightning unlikely. And with lottery draws happening every day, all over the world, eventually one of those was going to, well, win the lottery and have the same numbers twice in a row. The Bulgarian Lottery just happened to win the lottery, which is an incredibly rare event that a handful of fortunate individuals do every day all over the world. And that's what I love about this story, the statistics of big numbers. In a big enough world, incredibly unlikely things happen all the time. But at the start, I said that there were 2 fascinating things about this story. Well, remember that in the Bulgarian Lottery, in the first draw on September the 6th, 2009, no one won the grand prize. 4 days later, when the same numbers came up in the very next draw, The jackpot pool was shared by 18 people, which means 18 people said to themselves, hey, you know that lottery draw that just happened? The one where no one won? I reckon those same numbers are going to come up again. Who even does that? I mean, the chances of that happening must be ridiculously small, right?